So it's been a while for all things MK, so without any further ado,
it has begun!
Legends Snowblind is brought to us by director Rick Morales and stars David Wenham, Manny Jacinto, and Ron Young. As Kano and the Black Dragon wreak havoc around the globe, a young warrior named Kenshi will have to rise above his own limitations and take on the looming threat of Outworld. So Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind is the latest R-rated animated feature from the Mortal Kombat universe. Before this, we had Scorpion's Revenge and then Battle for the Realms, and if you look back at my reviews of those, I thought that they were pretty good. Scorpion's Revenge was a bit of a rehash that I didn't really need, and I thought Battle for the Realms, while still a bit of a rehash, was a bit more fresh. And that's probably my biggest complaint of the Legends films up to this point. They all just seem like rehashes, things we already know. These are stories we've seen. While Realms was a bit different, it was still a lot of the same MK stuff that we've seen for decades at this point. And now enters Snowblind, and while yes, this entry does include some things that we've seen in the Mortal Kombat lore up to this point, it is the most original story of the Legends films up to this point. Going into this thing, I was expecting more of what we've gotten so far with the Legends films, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but they're really only something that are going to interest MK fans. And seeing as how I am a huge MK fan, I'm okay with that, but on the flip side of that, I would like to see something new. So color me surprised when that's kind of what we got here, and I kind of dug it. This MK story takes place in a post-apocalyptic world. Everything has gone to shit Mad Max style. Kano, or King Kano as he's known in this film, has taken over and he is the big dick in charge. Now, I've never been the biggest Kano fan, granted he has grown on me a bit in recent years, but here they make it work. At first, when I saw that Kano was the big guy in charge, I was like, really? Kano? He outdid like Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn and Liu Kang and just anybody in the MK universe. But they do give you reasons as to why he is in charge, why he is the big guy. Kano's crew of ne'er-do-wells are going throughout the land and just taking over all these small villages and making them pledge allegiance to Kano. I mean, I don't really see why, because just everything in this world is shit at this point, so all you're doing is acquiring more shit for your shit sandwich, but you know, whatever, I guess you do you. Upon arriving at one small village and trying to take over, they are met with some opposition in the form of Kenshi. Now, if you know the games, you will know that Kenshi is a blind telekinetic character. And one of the first things you'll notice here is that this Kenshi is much younger, he's not telekinetic, and he also is not blind. So yeah, you guessed it, origin story, bitches! Now, honestly, I really wasn't looking forward to a Kenshi origin story, but, you know, I was looking forward to something new, and that's what they gave us here, and it was pretty fun. Old Man Sub-Zero shows up too, and I can always do me some Old Man Sub-Zero. We see how Kenshi loses his eyesight, we see how he gets telekinesis, how he gets his sword, and how he gets to where we know him in the games. Now, you may be asking yourself, what about this world? That's not how I remember things going down within the MK universe, and you'd be right, but the movie does, by the time the end rolls around, give us a reason as to why this world is the way that it is. And the way that they do it is kind of unexpected, and it does make it fit nicely within the MK lore, especially the newer MK lore. Now, this story is not going to set the world on fire. This isn't the be-all, end-all of MK stories. However, it is something new, and that is something that this series has painfully needed for quite a while. I enjoyed these characters. I enjoyed the story, though kind of basic, that they had to tell. If you're an MK fan, you are going to like this. At first glance, you might say, okay, they've changed quite a bit here, but like I said, just see it through to the end and it all makes sense. Now, on the flip side of that, much like the other two MK Legends films that came before this, if you're not an MK fan, this probably isn't going to change your mind. That's not to say it's bad, that's just saying that this is made for the fans. You don't necessarily have to have that built-in knowledge that you have as a fan, but these things just aren't going to resonate with you the same. Can the movie's characters and story stand on their own without that knowledge? Yeah, but they're not going to stand up as well as they would if you do have that knowledge and love for the series. That being said, if you are a fan, I think you're going to have a really good time here, and in my humble opinion, this is the best entry in the Legends franchise up to this point. If you enjoyed the animation style and storytelling beats of the previous entries in this franchise, then you're going to enjoy it here because it is pretty much the same. The artwork and character design all around is pretty good. The animation in this one I feel is a little bit more fluid than it was in the previous two. And the violence, if that's what you're here for, well, there is quite a bit of it, and some of it is pretty fucking gnarly. I mean, it is Mortal Kombat, so what did you expect? The movie doesn't seem as much of a try-hard as the first Legends film did when it comes to its R-rated content, though. That movie, while the violence was pretty cool, it felt like they added in a bunch of language just to solidify that R rating. You don't get a lot of that here. Yeah, there is some language and stuff, but it's not forced. I remember the first movie, like every other word was fuck, and it just seemed really out of place. Here, yeah, we get some language, but it never feels out of place or forced. I said a while back of the Legends franchise, while I think, yes, it was a cool idea, if they are going to continue the series, I want to see some new, fresher stories, and that's what they gave us here. So now I am more excited to see where they go from here. Guys, Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind was a pretty good time, especially for Mortal Kombat fans. While Kenshi wouldn't have originally been my first choice to headline a movie, I gotta say that I had a good time with that character and this world. It may not be a tour de force of storytelling, but when it comes to this franchise, it is definitely the best so far, and for fans, I think you're gonna really enjoy this. It's fresh, it's fun, and moves at a really solid pace. Its animation and voice work is all very solid, and the only thing really holding this thing back from a little bit of a higher rating would be the fact that this is very much for the fans and other people won't find as much enjoyment. But that being said, it is absolutely worth streaming.
Across the street.
Now, even though I did rate this movie worth streaming, I will say if you are a Mortal Kombat fan, this movie is absolutely worth a buy. But for fans and non-fans alike, I do think the movie is worth checking out. So one night, if you ain't got nothing else to do and you're looking forward to some really good, gruesome, R-rated fun, then check out Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind, and I think you'll have a pretty good time with it. So there it is, guys, my review of Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below. Become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits to go along with that, like these guys. And possibly check out my top tier and become a bad motherfucker like my man Silverlock and Marge G. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Earthrealm.
Is it just me, or is it getting a little bit nippy out here?
He's here. And there is nothing you can do to stop him.
Now, even though these Legends movies have all been pretty good, especially for fans, there is one thing that they are all missing. There is one thing that they could add that would probably raise the ratings of all three of these Legends films so far by at least 1 point, and that would be, of course, the song. You can never have too much techno syndrome.